years ago, I was invited to attend a gala celebration at the Celebrity Center owned by the Church of Scientology in Hollywood, California. As a researcher who engages in the academic study of religion, I was intrigued and interested to go. However, some of my friends suggested, "Are you sure you want to go? Isn't Scientology a dangerous cult? How are you going to act? Are you going to be harassed or followed in any way?" However, I went as a researcher with an open mind because I was interested in speaking to some actual Scientologists. Of course, I had viewed television shows and I had heard all of the reports by former members of the group, but I also wanted to learn what did people think who are still in the group. So I had some very interesting conversations at the event, and I went on to write an academic article about Scientology, which was published. Now, the Church of Scientology was not entirely happy with my article, but they did not harass or follow me. I approach my research on cults and new religious movements in the same and similar ways that anyone would approach an ethnographic or historical research project. Now, many people feel that members of cults are somehow in a different class, that they can't be trusted or spoken to in the same way as sort of members of mainstream religions. And certainly there are times when one might feel that the people one was interviewing were under duress of some kind. However, it's also important to realize that members of cults are people with multiple overlapping affiliations. There might be some actually on campus that members of groups that have been considered cults in the past, such as Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, also known as the Mormons. So we need to keep a historical perspective as researchers and realize that groups change over time. The Church of Scientology actually changed many of its policies regarding critics and journalists, and unfortunately it still seems to be having some issues with harassment of former members and critics. So what I always try to keep in mind is a kind of triangulation. I talk to people in the group. I listen carefully to people who've left the group. I look at what the group says about itself. And I therefore try to approach the truth in a similar way to which many researchers in the social sciences may do. Now, the students in my class on cults and new religious movements are often surprised to learn that there are not 20 or 50 cults in the United States, but there are literally hundreds of new religious movements, minority traditions, fringe faiths, and they all need to be studied too, just like the mainline religions. So that's why my work is never boring.